Hello everyone, welcome back to Marvel Mania. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
And today we are going to tackle a movie that we accidentally missed, so sorry about that. We are going backwards one to Punisher Warzone.
Which I believe the last time we did this, it was the other Punisher movie. I think it was.
Yeah, maybe it was. I forget, but there was one other time that this
I like these movies, I promise. Well, it's just... I don't know, like, after we finished the Incredible Hulk, it's like, okay, we're done with 2008. I knew this came out in 2008. But...
This is a weird box, because this movie's called Punisher Warzone, but Warzone is on top of Punisher for some reason.
This is one of the first movies I got real angry at the Blu-ray DVD release.
Oh, yeah?
It has commentary. This doesn't have commentary.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this being, this came out in 08, so we would have been past the Blu-ray versus high def or HD DVD war thing that we had, like beta and VHS. And what's odd about that is that the DVD still has both widescreen and full screen, which you'd think we'd have been past that by now.
It's true. It's true.
The other thing that's odd about this is it's got the Marvel Knights logo in the corner.
Yes, and it will have a Marvel Knights logo in the opening.
Yeah.
And I believe Spirit of Vengeance also has Marvel Knights.
Does it? And this is around the time that there was a lot of talk about rebooting Daredevil, so that makes a lot of sense.
I like the idea of doing Marvel Knights as their Vertigo films. Like, if Marvel Studios ever wanted to do, like, R-rated movies, I like the idea of labeling them Marvel Knights.
Honestly, they could about call their Netflix shows
That's
that.
true. That's true.
And this wasn't like, let's rope them all together in a continuity.
No,
it was just you'll know that these are meant to be the dark ones.
Yeah, because that's R, and I believe the other Ghost Riders also are.
Is it really? I don't. Well, no, I think you're right about that. Now I'm putting my brain back in there. That I do seem to remember that being a rated R film.
It's a real soft R. Like, there's not a lot of swearing, there's no nudity, but I think it is R.
And the only other property that they really had was X-Men. And so it's like, because this is still Fox, yeah?
I don't know.
It's Lionsgate. Yes,
of course it's Lionsgate. Because Lionsgate made...
Okay, so forget what I said about Daredevil then.
Lionsgate made the Saw series.
Okay.
And I remember when this came out, I remember two things about people saying about the trailer. One of them was, it looks like they're ripping off The Dark Knight. Which isn't possible, because it came out in November of 08. The second one is people saying, because the villain's name is Jigsaw, and he says in the trailer, let's play a game, which is the line of Jigsaw from the Saw movies, so that might have been an intentional thing, because Lionsgate...
And they have the same name.
Yeah.
It probably was. Yeah, I didn't know that. And speaking of not knowing things, I've seen this movie exactly one time, so I'm going to have even more the thing I had with the 04 Punisher.
Do you remember anything about this movie?
Not really.
Oh, man, I am so excited for some of these kills.
I remember a church, and I remember Jigsaw being just the most over-the-top thing.
Oh, there's an amazing kill, and I'm so excited.
But it's all real, like, broad overview-y stuff. I'm not remembering any specific moments. So, this is going to be a lot of, kind of like the other Punisher movie, I would assume. This is probably going to be a lot of Eric talking, a lot of me going, oh yeah, or, wait, I don't remember that in this movie. So, thanks for watching with us. If you don't mind hearing a whole lot of that. If you want to watch with us, make sure to get your DVD or Blu-ray, however you want to watch it. Get it past all the menus to timestamp 0, and get ready to press play when I say now. Are you ready, Eric?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Everybody, please press play right now.
If you listen to our other Punisher commentary, and you were just done with me talking about Welcome Back Frank, I'm still going to bring up Welcome Back Frank, because some of that's in this movie.
So I watched this one time for the rewind that I recorded with Vince. And he and I watched this together. That's the only time I've seen it.
Does Vince enjoy this film?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting because they made a big deal when this movie came out about how... ooh, it's black and white.
Oh yeah, there's a Marvel Knights logo.
Yeah, and it's done like the Marvel logo.
That's cool.
I remember or when this film, leading up to this film, they made this big deal about how they were really drawn from Punisher Max. And it's certainly violent like Punisher Max, but tonally...
Doesn't have that tone at all.
Tonally, it's much more still Welcome Back Frank. This...
Now, and that's what I think we can expect a Netflix show to feel like. Is more
Max?
like Max.
I really hope so.
Well, because I think there's quite a bit of that in his part of Daredevil Season 2.
Max is... there's a scene from Welcome Back Frank in the when he chains Daredevil up and makes him choose between shooting him and letting him shoot someone. That's from Welcome Back Frank.
This is another pretty cool opening title sequence.
It is, and it almost made it into your... Because we were just pulling things, we're like, does this have a cool title sequence? And this was one of the ones we were like, oh,
we watched title sequences for 25 or 30 movies. Yeah. Oh, I forgot Julie Benz was in this.
Julie Benz is in this, yeah.
Remember when she used to show up in movies every now and again?
She still does, I think.
Well, she's still in a lot more TV than anything.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She was in Boondock Saints 2.
She was in that...
Oh, I forgot Wayne Knight was in
which
this,
is
and he's
just
the
best
best
casting. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was working on my top 10 90s Spider-Man list today, or we're going back through that show to prepare for it. Mm-hmm. And I was watching the first Punisher episode.
Maybe he's got a bandana.
And their microchip looks a little bit like Wayne Knight.
Yeah, Wayne Knight in this movie kind of looks like Microchip in the comics a bit. And that's also a thing. It took 3 movies.
But I couldn't think of Wayne Knight when I wrote my notes for it, so I wrote, he looks like Dennis Nedry.
I go to Newman.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, and I love him in Third Rock.
Oh, yes, as a cop.
Third Rock.
Yeah.
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 This is a great opening title sequence.
This is a really cool
and I'm not sure, honestly, how the 04 one beat this out.
Well, because it's all Art Deco-y, and it's the bleeding, I think.
Yeah, and
it's got the gun shells.
And the Western music and stuff. But this is one of the cooler, like, comic panel-derived ones. Mm-hmm. And I almost wish the whole movie kept doing the comic panel thing, because it could have maybe outdone Ang Lee's Hulk in that.
And it's doing a lot of neon lights, not unlike Batman Forever. And things like that, where it's a comic book movie. Which, again, is not very Max.
Yeah, how stylistic does the color palette and stuff get in this movie?
It's pretty stylistic. I think it's always from a light source. Like, we never have, like, a red scene. But
oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
But we will walk into a room and it will just be red.
It's not just tinted.
Yeah.
But we do a lot with lighting.
Yeah. This is one of the big movies when Roger Ebert started getting up there in age where I'm like, no, man, I think you're losing it. His entire review of this movie is how unrealistic it is to have your main character dangle from a chandelier shooting guns. And he gave the Fast and Furious movies a pass. I don't understand what it was. I mean, this is a real nasty movie. Like, I could see it not being his thing. But to complain about realism. So that is...
as if it didn't establish what it was for him enough at the beginning.
So that's Detective Soap. He is a character from Welcome Back Frank. He's a little bit more deplorable and a little bit more of a sad sack in that story, but he's from Welcome Back Frank. And that's not Brian Michael Bendis, but you can almost not tell.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like him. Soap is a great name for a cop.
Yeah.
Especially if he was a dirty cop.
Well, he's not.
Well, I mean, it works really well for a clean cop surrounded by dirty cops also. I'm not saying that's what he is either, but I'm just thinking of all kinds of cool things you could do with that.
Yeah. And he's... it's Dominic West, who was on The Wire, and everyone tells me he's amazing. This is the only thing I've ever seen him in, and he is doing the most outlandish accent. Like, if you asked me to do, like, a mafia accent, this is what you would get. And it's really funny, and I think it's supposed to be. Like, it's clearly, he's not trying to do a good accent.
He looks like if Nathan Fillion was a mob boss. And looks like... and looks like he's likely to be typecast all the time as that character.
I'm sure that's what he is in The Wire. I like that he's always looking at himself in the mirror and, like, adjusting his appearance, because he's vain and it's going to get messed up.
Yeah, I feel like we're establishing absurdity and how out there this movie is just with his accent. That's either a poor performance or we're exaggerating everything.
And I feel like a lot of people acted like it was a poor performance. I don't think it is. I think it's an intentionally absurd performance.
Yeah.
In a movie that I'm pretty sure is intentionally absurd.
I remember feeling that way this whole movie. And that it was really fun and silly and that it was kind of misunderstood. We like to go to the...
Looney Jim.
We like to go to the word underrated all the time.
Mm.
This is not that. This is not a movie. I mean, just remembering from the one time I watched it, I remember not thinking this was underrated. I remember thinking it was misunderstood.
Yeah,
those are different things.
It's just not to most people's taste.
Sure.
Which is weird.
And it wasn't exactly mine, but
because there are movies that come out around this that have a similar...
Although Gotham is a show that would prepare you for this film.
Yeah. But that is a similar, like, insane, like... I feel like if you liked the Crank movies, you would like this movie and things of that ilk. Like, there were successful movies that were kind of these, like, really out there, outlandish, like, comedy... Almost
like
gore, yeah. Hyperviolence. That's what we call it in anime. It's hyperviolence. Because that's what we call it in the 90s. I don't know if we still use that term. I'm not part of the anime community anymore.
I was trying to think of that word, but I went to super.
Wrong Street Fighter.
Oh. Super hyperviolence too.
This scene, I think, immediately...
Yeah.
We talk about how films, like... kind of tell you what they are immediately, and once you get to this, you know exactly the movie you're in for.
Absolutely.
And if you can handle it or not.
Yeah, Frank's killing people with his hands.
Yeah.
He hasn't fired a weapon yet, and he's already killed like 8 people. That is nearly grindhouse violence.
I think this whole movie is. I think this whole movie is very grindhousey, and this is the scene that is Ebert's entire review.
And it opens the film and was also in the trailer. Not that Ebert probably saw a lot of trailers, but I would. Well,
look at all those bullets. That's pretty.
That's not fair. He went to all kinds of screenings that were just with regular audiences, so he would have seen previews for things, not necessarily this. But that's the kind of review that almost sounds like he only watched the first 5 minutes of the film. That's not true, I'm sure, but I'm just saying.
No, it really felt like his last couple of years he was just like flipping a coin, like on the movies that he would like and wouldn't like.
Well, and that's when he was really sick and went to the hospital and wasn't able to review Iron Man because he was in the hospital, so he wrote a blog about it later.
And this is a film, unlike the first one, because I believe this cost less than the Tom Jane one. Like, this film uses its budget.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Ray Stevenson's not a big name. He's still not a big name. He's Volstagg.
Yeah.
And he reprises this role...
Which is crazy to imagine.
He reprises this role in Superhero Squad, which is just the best thing.
Does he voice it the same way?
I think he does. Because he definitely has a voice.
It's cool that he has a sense of humor and was cool with doing that kind of a thing with this character, but yet they have a sense of humor to make this movie. It is cool that we have 2 Punisher movies that are totally different things.
Yeah. We have 3, really.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I just mean major big screen, big budget movies, but I also like that first one.
I like this bit. He's I like the idea that there's cops that like what Frank does and will let him go about his way. And I like this. This is a thing that comes from Welcome Back, Frank, but a little bit different here. In Welcome Back, Frank, it's a little bit that the cops are scared. I don't get that here, but they put the most incompetent person on the Punisher case because they know he'll never do anything.
And like you said, for some of them, it would also be because they don't want to apprehend him.
Mm.
They want him to keep cleaning up the city in a way they can.
Yeah.
And we get that line in almost every superhero origin movie where we have a vigilante that's extreme at all.
Yeah.
That's gross.
It's even gross when he pulls it out. It's all bloody. It's gross.
Where somebody, like on the news or something, will say, you know, well, I think someone should pin a medal on him, and I don't care how many people he's killed.
Yeah.
You always have that.
Boondock Saints ends like that real hardcore. So this is the parkour gang. They're in this movie.
What's that from?
Actually, the leader is from, I believe, the second arc of Punisher Max, but I don't think he's a parkour guy. But like he's kind of right off the page with his hair and with his teeth. But I believe he's from Kitchen Irish. I might be wrong. It's not an arc I particularly love that much in Punisher Max. It's the second arc. I don't think it's that good. Although I haven't gone back to that stuff in years. I haven't seen this movie in a while either.
Is this one you ever used to go back to?
I've gone back to this a couple of times. Not a lot. No, I think 2008 is kind of my cutoff for that.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't watched Thor and Captain America a lot. Like, I think that's kind of where I kind of stopped doing that. Although I've watched Iron Man 2 a lot, so maybe not.
Yeah,
I feel like he's playing it like Colin Farrell. Because he's Irish, so he must be from Kitchen Irish. That must be the arc he's from. But I think he's doing a Colin Farrell for his accent, and I think that's amusing.
Put him in an airplane, see what happens.
Well, he'd parkour around. I imagine that'd be difficult on an airplane.
People say we parkour around. Do your monkey thing.
I love the idea of a parkour band.
Yeah, honestly, this movie doesn't look like it necessarily has any more money than the Dolph Lundgren version.
It's much closer to that than is the Tom Jane one. This is not a movie that's trying to
big wide release and
seriously.
stuff.
Yeah,
but
well, I mean, it was dropped in November, and that's before November was a big movie time outside of like the Harry Potter.
No, but I'm just saying it's a regular movie.
Yeah.
It's not anywhere close to B-movie status.
Yeah.
But it's very.
Do you think that shot was an homage to Best of Both Worlds?
No.
Where he had the laser on and it just kind of the.
No, it's not like that's the only place that ever does that.
Maybe Lexi Alexander is a.
No, we do that with.
Is a Star Trek fan.
No, not at all. We do that with laser point guns all the time. No, if anything, the board got it from these kinds of movies, or from like comp movies and military things.
So I know you don't remember this, but that guy there is Julie Benz's husband. He's an undercover cop.
Oh, okay.
And Frank accidentally kills him because he thinks he's a mobster. Not long after I meet Manos, we were having a discussion about the Punisher because Manos doesn't like the Punisher, and he said if I ever got to write the Punisher, I'd do a story where he accidentally kills a cop. And I was like, oh, they just did that in Punisher Warzone. Although it's not a really dramatic thing, like you could still tell his story and make it, better.
More poignant, let him learn more from it.
And this is just the best.
The only way for this to end is for Frank to then say, well, that was fun news for Chinese.
He ends with his face.
Yeah, how could you possibly be complaining about realism?
Yeah,
at this point in the movie?
Know.
And we're all of what? Yeah, 15 minutes in.
Now, to be fair, this is a really poorly reviewed movie. Like, people don't like this
Oh, sure.
movie.
Yeah.
I kind of think it's mostly a taste issue. I don't think those guns do that. I'm not a gun guy. I'm not an expert, but those just look like regular pistols to me.
Once again, I might at some point finally go back and actually write about this movie.
You could get away probably more with not doing this one than the Tom Jane. Like, there's things in the Tom Jane one.
Yeah, sure. But if I did that one, I'd probably do this one too.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of completion. I've written about one Punisher film.
It'd be real interesting to see you try and like narratively find stuff in this movie, and have to watch it a couple of times.
Yeah. I guess this is an obvious thing to say, but it's nice that we didn't do another origin film.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because this starts. This film is long in development. It starts as a sequel script to Tom Jane's, and then at some point Tom Jane is just like, I don't like this script, and he leaves.
Do you think this is another one of those movies, because we've been talking about this a lot, that kind of sort of works with the other one, but not really?
It doesn't, because we explicitly see how his family dies,
and it's different.
And it's the comic book version where it's just him and his kids, or his wife and his kids.
I remember that's in this now. Yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise, absolutely. Like, if we didn't actually flash back to when his family died, you absolutely could. I think.
Because again, as you said before, he's not the Punisher through that whole movie, and then you get to the end, and now he is. And this could be that guy, kind of.
Yeah. And I like Ray Stevenson as the Punisher.
Yeah, we've had two actors that make sense in this role, and then Dolph Lundgren, who's fine as long as he's not talking.
Yeah. Yeah, we're using a lot of colors. Like, that room was red. The subway tunnel was green. This is blue.
All the colors of the rainbow in our dark and gritty Grindhouse Punisher movie.
I think it gives it personality of some kind.
Yeah, but clearly...
But I've also heard people negatively comment, and this is the thing that Amazing Spider-Man 2 gets as well.
We're not doing anything with that, certainly.
Where it's like, well, it looks like Batman Forever, and I'm like, it's not the problem with Batman Forever or Batman and Robin.
I don't think so either.
I think you could do a really cool movie in that kind of aesthetic. I think you could do a really dark movie in that kind of aesthetic.
Yeah, I always thought that was a separate thing that people lumped into. This movie is bad. It's like, this movie is bad, and this thing is there, and therefore that means that must be the thing that makes it bad. I mean, it's really easy to say, well, Batman's supposed to be dark, it shouldn't have all that color. But you can do that and it not feel like it takes away from the grit of it.
Yeah.
Also, Gotham would be a place with a lot of neon in it.
I would think so. Because it's a little New York, it's a little Las Vegas. It's
certain
a little,
areas.
Yeah.
If it has any kind of a Chinatown, there's a funeral.
Yeah. If we see a funeral for Frank's family in flashback, does that count as a funeral? I don't remember if we'd get that or not, but...
I think it would. Because it's a separate funeral and it's on
Julian's dark hair in this movie.
Yeah, which is
so weird.
Oh, I've seen that guy in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I know who that is. I think.
Is he from Arrow?
Yes.
Is he that? Yeah, I think he is too.
That's Moira's husband.
Yeah.
Right?
I think you're right.
Isn't that who that is?
That's who I thought it was too.
That's got to be who that is. Look how tall he is.
Yeah.
Ooh, and he's got that 40-yard stare. Why don't we cast that guy in more stuff?
He's really imposing. I never realized how tall he was.
Yeah, that's the right word. He's got a presence.
Yeah.
He's intimidating. He doesn't even have to speak. Just stand there.
Yeah.
Let's see if he's doing a British accent or an American accent.
Somewhere in the middle.
No, he's trying to force that New York accent, and it's hilarious. And that doesn't go with that face. I mean, I'm saying this because I've heard him talk a lot in Arrow, but that face looks like a British accent should come out of it.
That looks like a hug she didn't really want.
Yeah. Yeah, Julie Benz with dark hair is weird.
Yeah, it's really weird.
I mean, I feel like I've probably seen her with dark hair and other things, but...
I can't think of anything
I don't know.
with dark hair in.
Well, I'm just thinking of other things
this.
I've seen her in, and I can't remember what her hair looked like.
I mean, she's got blonde hair in Angel.
Well, no, I know, but
Does she have dark hair when she comes back, though?
I don't remember. But like that sci-fi show where she's the leader of the town in the future in what used to be St. Louis. I can't remember what she looks like in that. I can't remember the name of that right off either. I can't remember. I don't remember what she looked like in No Ordinary Family. Like, I've seen her in a lot of stuff.
She's got blonde hair in Dexter.
Yeah.
She's great in Dexter.
I for a second forgot she was in that, of course.
I don't like this scene. I don't buy it.
What's
We're going to get told it's been at least 10, if not 20 years of The Punisher. I don't buy that Frank Castle is still breaking down at his family's tombstone. Like, I'm not saying that hurt ever goes away, but you're not breaking down.
It would be internalized.
Yeah.
More likely.
Like, Batman doesn't go to, like, you know, his
Just
family's tombstone and
lose it
cry.
yeah. We do a single tear a lot and things like that, but...
And it's usually something that evokes it or brings it back. It's not just seeing his parents.
Yeah, there's got to be
tombstone.
more to it. Somebody shows up there that you haven't seen in a long time, or something. Budiansky.
He looks like a Budiansky,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he does.
I wonder if
And there's
that's...
only one kind of accent that comes out of the mouth of a man named Budiansky. It's that. It's that voice.
It's a British Brooklyn. I wonder if Budiansky is a reference to the comic book writer Bob Budiansky, I think it is.
Oh, well, probably.
I don't.
That's a real common last name, Eric.
But I can't think of any like seminal Punisher stuff. Like, I don't think of Budiansky when I think of Punisher. What else does he do?
I don't even know who that is. What else does he
draw? I know him for doing Transformers.
Oh, okay.
I think he was mostly an editor that wrote sometimes.
Oh, I think he's an artist. That's a great line! You Krispy Kreme mother effers. I wish I had known about that. We would have gotten some Krispy Kreme donuts.
Oh, that would have been great!
We have a Krispy Kreme right down the street. We could have bought some donuts. I don't know if you know that. Like, they don't just have donuts. There's a restaurant. There's a Krispy Kreme restaurant. Yeah, we should go there sometimes. Sometimes it's delicious.
Well, you keep talking about this pie place.
Yeah, we haven't done that.
6 months, man.
We gotta do that. Well, they're never open.
That's true. That's true.
Anytime we'd have time to go,
anytime we've driven by there, they're closed.
Yeah. They haven't shut the place down. They're just not open when we go. They have weird hours. It's like we're repeating that name as often as possible because it's a weird, not real memorable name. So every scene we say Budiansky at least 4 times. Now I remember it. Name one character in this film besides Frank Castle. Budiansky.
Martin Soap.
And Soap.
Well, maybe it's only 5 years. In Max, it's like 20?
Yeah, but he's older in that.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be like 50 or something.
Yeah, he's a non-vet.
I like the idea of doing a movie that's late Frank Castle.
Well, and that's my biggest problem with the Netflix show is Max Punisher's my Punisher, and that guy's just too young in my brain for how old Frank Castle. Frank Castle is at least 40. Like, he just
yeah, and you're not going to straight up adapt one of those stories, but you can certainly tonally make it well, and maybe they'll borrow some. But what I'm saying is, you can if he's that young.
Yeah,
because those stories are about how old he is. Playing to your point,
yeah.
You shouldn't do that.
That series is 10 6-issue arcs. I kind of wish we'd just take those and make those all 2-parters.
But and
just make that a season.
We keep talking about how long, we keep speculating about how long we think the MCU is going to go. I mean, maybe 10, 20 years down the line, you can do that. I wouldn't use up too much of that material yet, because you've got an aging universe with people who age in real time. You might be able to tell a story about an older Punisher.
Yeah, and the first arc of that
on
would actually be good for a later Punisher.
Yeah, the more we're talking about it,
I like this reveal. This is all of the case files for everyone that the Punisher's murdered.
I'm a little worried they might take too much from that material.
Because they're not all about him older, but there's definitely a couple of them that definitely are. I want to see the Slavers adapted. I don't think they'll touch it, but that's my favorite Punisher story.
One thing I think we need to be really careful about is thinking about those too much as TV shows that have to keep going, as opposed to doing it more like comic book miniseries where you do just a miniseries. You can call it season 2 or 3 or whatever you want to call it.
It should be the British model. We can wait 2-3 years and then do another one. You know, when we have time to when we have a story to tell and things like that.
Precisely. Yeah, that's one of the best supporting cast casting choices.
Yeah.
In a superhero movie.
He's so good in this. And I feel like you could put him in any kind of Punisher movie and he'd still be great.
Can you think of anything he's been in after this? This is the oldest I have ever seen him in anything.
I want to say he was in something after this because I was real surprised at how lean he's gotten in this.
Yeah,
and
I was going to say that.
There's a point later where he's chained up and you can see he's still got it here.
Yeah.
But he's real lean in the face. And I want to say I've seen him in something after this where he's a little bit bigger again.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if maybe he showed up for an episode of a sitcom or something.
Yeah, I'm sure he's done some of that. And he's probably been in some things that I just haven't seen. But I was wondering if you'd seen him in anything, because I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I can't explicitly, but I don't feel like this is the last time I saw him. I think I saw him maybe 1 or 2 things after this. I'm not sure. I'm hoping he comes back as a cyborg in Jurassic World 2.
That would be just the best thing.
There was a Jurassic Park 4 script that was floating around for a while that was having Sam Jackson come back as a cyborg that fights dinosaurs. I like Jurassic World, but boy did we miss out on Jurassic Park 4.
Is that going too far? I think not. I think not. And now we're in orange.
So, this guy, and this scene's cribbing real hard from 89, but this guy, he looks like he was like the second choice for Blackheart and Ghost Rider, right?
Yeah, and the first choice ultimately ended up feeling like the second or third choice. So that's real rough. He's like mini Blackheart. Like if Blackheart had a tiny clone. If you were wondering if this was a comedy, you need only to watch this scene.
Is that M. Night Shyamalan?
That's not M. Night Shyamalan.
I can't tell. He hasn't aged a day in 20 years.
Why is his hair sticking out the front of his bandages?
Oh, did he run through what's in his skin? Because that's another line where I'm like, you can't think this movie's a serious movie. Because he talks about, like, there's, like, horsehide and stuff that he uses to patch his face back together.
We'll look that up and we'll find out that's a thing that we just do.
I don't think it is. I think this is where he runs through it.
Alloy plates and horsehide. Can you get more specific? What kind of alloy are we talking here? What I really want to know is if it's going to set off the metal detectors at the airport. Oh, you're right. This is kind of drawing from 89 a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess just in that it's a similar situation, but you kind of want him to be like, mirror! When all else fails in this movie to get a laugh, we just have someone throw an F-bomb and smack people around. That's...
Yeah. You don't think he doesn't look that bad. He looks like a guy with scars on his face. Oh! He's looking at a jigsaw puzzle! I don't know if I ever caught that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I'm glad you did.
Oh, I love that he wears a fur coat. Because of course he does.
He's a Dick Tracy villain.
Yeah, I really think people think this is a movie that takes itself seriously and is dumb. It can't be.
No, obviously not. I can see that. I can say that at any point and just point at the screen. Clearly, that is not the case. Just periodically, I'll start doing that.
And Jigsaw is the closest thing the Punisher has to an arch nemesis. Because everyone's got to have one.
Yeah.
Just,
so it makes sense that he's in this movie.
Yeah, and he's just, for some reason, he just ends up never dying.
See, clearly...
Oh, and his brother just devours scenery. When we get to Looney Bin Jim, he's just gorging himself on scenery.
You know, finally going back to this, there is a vibe. Well, there's a few things this is reminding me of, and Dick Tracy is one of them real hard.
Yeah.
With stuff he's doing in his face especially, but the big thing tonally this is reminding me of a lot is Darkman.
Yeah, I could see some Darkman in this. I wish Darkman had an over-the-top villain like this.
Roots hard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just mean in the flavor of violence.
Yeah, that opening scene of Darkman where like all the criminals like pull out like 1,000 like weapons and drop on the ground. It's like the knuckle dusters and like a chain and swords. Like they just pull them all out of their coats. That could be in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, and the weird like rubber hand pulling back thing and all of that. Like
this whole plot line with Julie Benz feels like it's from an earlier draft where this was a more serious movie.
And maybe they're intentionally trying to use it to offset the absurdity?
Maybe? I don't know. You should get locks like that.
I would love for all the doors in my house to require the most giant keys imaginable.
You pull out...
Cap, why do you have a lanyard with keys this long? What, have you seen the locks in my house?
See, I imagine you just have the one key, and like you pull out your lanyard, and it's a bunch of normal sized keys and just one giant key, and you're like, I can never remember which one goes to my house.
Okay, so this actor is in Lost, and he also plays a character in a psych ward.
I kind of could imagine him getting typecast as like a jerk in a hospital.
Well, I'm talking the
the guy
in the bed.
Looney Bin Jim.
Yeah, like I think he gets typecast as loonies in psychiatric hospitals. If memory serves, that's the guy that Hurley is in a psych ward with, and who he's trying to decide if he's hallucinating or if he was actually there.
Oh, I see.
And there's a whole episode where he's a hallucination that keeps popping up all over the island to Hurley.
Oh.
And he shows up in 3 or 4 episodes. He's great. And he plays Connect 4.
But this guy, I'm pretty sure he's cast as like a sad sack like all the time, right? Like that's just, he's always a sad sack or a jerk.
Yeah. I think I've seen him in a couple of things. Yeah, the last time I saw this, I didn't know any of these people. I've seen quite a few of these actors in other things since then. But weirdly, I think this movie was only 3 years old. 2 or 3 years old the first time I saw it.
Yeah, it's almost 10 years old now.
Oh, that's nuts.
I remember where I was when I saw this. I remember where I went afterwards.
Me too. I was at Vince's house.
I saw it in theaters with a friend of mine, and we went to CC's.
Oh my god, that's gross. I'm having flashbacks to Reanimator.
This movie doesn't go to the Reanimator
It's not
places.
nearly... This is not nearly as gruesome.
Was this one of the most gruesome things you'd seen when you first watched it?
I'm not sure.
Obviously, you're a tad desensitized now, but...
Yeah.
Was it a hard watch for you?
That's an understatement. I don't remember this being a hard watch.
You're
But I think I had seen more horror films by this point. And I had already watched
like that.
And I had already watched those couple of movies that I had already... Like, I had already reviewed Blade by the Blade movies by this point. And at least the first two, and the other Punisher, And around this time, I was going to the theater and seeing a lot of really bad horror movies with a friend of mine that really liked to see horror movies, no matter if they were good or bad. He always went to them. He always took me. He was always paying, so I always went. I'm gonna have a really hard time doing nothing but talking about her brown hair.
He just came up to knock on the door and said something to the little girl, and her immediate reaction is to stick a gun in his face. She didn't know he was the Punisher till that moment.
Oh yeah, I remember having huge
overreaction.
issues with her characterization and Julie Bind's acting.
Yeah.
And I like Julie Bind's and stuff, but I think she's confused as to what movie she's in.
Absolutely.
Like, it's over the top, but not the right way.
No,
You know?
yeah.
This is not the right sort of melodrama, because I'm not having fun with this.
Yeah, no.
And this movie hasn't attempted this kind of drama until this moment, so...
This is easily the weakest stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm so sure, because there's like 3 writers on this. I'm so sure all of this is coming from a different script, or an earlier script, and we just never cut it.
It doesn't feel like it fits in this movie at all.
No. But they needed some kind of emotional through line, and
Yeah.
this is it.
Because this whole who punishes the Punisher idea in, like, what the whole rest of the movie is about?
No, only when Julie Benz is involved. It is a recurring theme for the Julie Benz plot.
Yeah, sure. And obviously that's a thing you should do with the Punisher.
He's gonna pick up his bag and go home.
You know, having him deal with the Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
And that he doesn't have to feel guilty about all the bad people he's put down, but there's
don't-
going to be collateral damage.
You don't do that in this one. In this tone, this kind of Punisher story.
No, I kind of think you'd want to keep him stagnant. This should be like if Punisher was a Max Fleischer cartoon.
Yeah, or like like the Death Wish movies or something like that, where like after the first one, there's no arc. It's just him showing up and murdering people.
Yeah, and as a character that refuses to change.
Yeah.
And I guess ultimately that's kind of what this is, but it's clearly trying too hard to be about something.
But only in those scenes? Like the rest of the movie doesn't seem to be. Purple elevator.
With green on
yeah.
this side. You got a little flesh you could move to one side. It'd be a little bit easier to see, maybe.
I'm pretty sure this is the horse side, right?
Yes.
That's the horse side.
Eric, I'm sorry to do this again, but give me 60 seconds. I'll be right back.
One Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. You're gonna miss the mirror breaking bit. I love the mirror breaking bit.
I'll be right back.
He's gonna break all the mirrors. It's gonna be great. It makes me laugh. Although it's actually the one moment in the film I think there's one point where he like goes like this, and I think it's the one time he's the wrong kind of over the top. Like, it doesn't work as well as the rest of his performance. I'll see how I feel about this time. Yeah, that one. I don't know. That feels like a guy trying to be crazy as opposed to the genuine crazy he is for the rest of this movie. There are a lot of mirrors in this room.
As soon as you said that, I suddenly remembered, oh yeah, the mirror breaking thing.
Yeah, that room had like 50 mirrors and he broke all of them.
Yeah, man, I should have gotten up yet. I remember that being really cool.
And he also doesn't know how mirrors work. Because he's like, I'm gonna promise you, you're never gonna see your reflection again. And he breaks all the mirrors, but they just shatter. It's just a bunch of reflections now. I mean, he's crazy, so...
Yeah, the only way that would...
We're in a red room. Not the red room.
The only way that would work is if you were in a room full of mirrors and he gouged your eyes out. You'll never see your reflection again.
You're not...
We don't talk vampire.
You do know that he's a crazy person, right? I'm gonna spun this as he tried to kill me and all he did was mess up my pretty face. Everybody else died.
But he's crazy. Oh, you know, I guess I have to take back something I said earlier. I guess the Julia Benz scenes would be the scenes where I can't point at the screen and be like...
Clearly a comedy.
Clearly! Oh my god.
Is this not a dinner movie?
No, it's not. It's not. Luckily, we're just having a string cheese. We're not having anything tomato-based. That's good. Yeah, I feel like the other end of that implement they stuck all the way through his neck would have created a larger hole. Like, that should have been harder to do that with. Yep, those are the kinds of insights you can expect today on Marvel Mania.
Oh, that's right. There's a whole biological terrorist weapon thing. This movie is really post 9/11.
Yeah.
Because we brought up Bin Laden earlier about like finding Bin Laden in a cave.
Yeah.
And this, I wouldn't have done that stuff. I would have made this movie feel a little bit more timeless.
Yeah, and this is just a year or two before he gets found, I think.
Mm.
Never seen anybody cosplay Jigsaw. That's...
I'm sure people have done that. I bet you could look it up. I bet someone's done that. I'm just selling this reasonably sized gun. That's not it. I was making fun of it. He has a giant gun.
Because as you were saying that,
yeah,
he was holding a reasonably sized gun.
Yeah, no. He had one that was like a revolver, but had like a long barrel.
Eric is... It's okay, Eric's just practicing for the real commentary. That seems like overkill to me.
Oh, this mom bit's weird.
How can you be actual like you?
It feels really Garth Ennis to see this thing with the mom.
I do not remember much about this movie at all. Yep.
That's really Garth Ennis. I don't know if you know this. Garth Ennis has a real, I'm convinced, like, phobia about old people. Specifically old women.
Oh.
Old women are the villain a lot.
Interesting.
I think he had, like, a bad experience with his grandma or something. I don't know.
He'd be the guy to do something with Ma Parker.
I was too busy crying.
It's my ritual every year when I go see my family's grave. Yeah, see, he gets himself worked up intentionally, Eric. That's what he does. His ritual is to go there and to do precisely that.
Well, I think he was just there
He's trying to make sure he's
funeral
still...
for the cop, and then he was like, "Oh no, my family's gravestone!
Okay.
Oh, the memories!"
Well, I don't know. Maybe he never goes back there. That could be it. Maybe that's the first time he's been back there.
That could be.
Then that would explain it. He's making all these assumptions about Frank Castle. You don't know the man. You don't know what he's been through. Did you just do a Jim Carrey and Batman Forever?
I did.
Is that
I
what
used
that
that
was?
a lot, quite a bit. I used that quite a bit, actually.
You'll notice it has the exact sentence structure and spelling.
That's exactly how Frank Castle would say that.
Would say
Acrobatic stuff. He would not say the word parkour. Frank Castle would not say the word parkour. He would say acrobatic stuff. I'd be a little bit more worried. I mean, he kind of said he wants to kill that guy. Hey, Soap, remember? We're in this movie.
I like that there's
the whole subplot.
I like that there's a sign that says bar with a curved arrow underneath it pointing at the bar. Bar is there. Just in case you're so drunk you can't tell where the bar is inside the bar.
He's kind of perfect for this part.
Yeah, we've got like 3 subplots going on. Now all of a sudden it feels like it's supposed to be a more serious movie. Oh wait, not anymore. Just put him on screen. Wait, never mind! I'm pointing again!
It's a comedy!
I'm pointing again. If you think this movie is taking itself serious...
Okay, and this scene coming up is another scene where, like, there's no possible way anyone can watch this movie and think it's not funny. Or doesn't know that it's funny.
Wow, you got to this car real fast. You weren't walking that fast, but then suddenly there you are!
This is, Rise Against, I believe. I used to listen to them. My younger, more angsty years.
Yeah, I wasn't immediately familiar with that song. I thought it was just generic.
There was a really cool song
that
they ran with this trailer called Days of Revenge by I think it was Ramstein. It was like real hard metal. Yeah, no, this is definitely Rise Against. Okay, it's coming. It's so good. This is my favorite scene in the whole movie.
Look, crazy people roof jumping.
It's so good!
That is just the most absurd thing. Just to demonstrate the expert precision of Frank Castle's shooting abilities. He shot, in case you're not watching, he shot a missile
and the guy
blew up the guy
pouring from building to building
as he was spinning in midair. Just, we're also really inconsistent with that sign that says Morty's in the background. I think we witnessed the Y and the S going out because it was flickering, and then we had a shot where they just weren't lit up at all. Those are the kinds of insights you can say if you thought there are some strange word choices in the dialogue in this. And a lot of it is things I can't say on the channel. So he's like a character that gets a bunch of scenes in this movie.
Yeah. He's the partner of Julie Benz's husband. He wants to bring down the Punisher.
He helped him finish it! Holy! All together now!
I don't think that's the guy we're looking for.
What do you think of the Punisher's coat with the collar that goes all the way up?
It's practical.
Yeah.
It's not something I necessarily would want
That was the thing
in comics.
Yeah,
but
that was the thing I first noticed when I saw the trailer for this movie.
it makes sense.
I was like, I don't think I've ever seen the Punisher
Although,
like that.
honestly, this is a movie where he could just be in, like, a trench coat and a t-shirt.
That's true, but if we want to talk realism for just a second, if you're in a world where people are constantly getting stuff shoved through their necks, you want your armor to go all the way up? It's kind of crazy you're not wearing a mask at that point.
This movie also could have gone just full Punisher costume.
It's like, no, you're right. It's like, nobody cares. Or is it like Frank Castle doesn't care if everybody knows that his name is Frank Castle. The mask is not to conceal his identity. It's to keep people from stabbing him in the eyeballs so that he'll never see his reflection again. That's... Okay, I'm starting to remember some of this.
I really want him to just keep taking guns off him.
That'd be the airplane joke.
Yeah.
Or like the Naked Gun joke. It's more appropriate to say Naked Gun.
But he has so many guns! Like, I believe that the Punisher always has at least 6 guns on him. Like, I'm not saying you do it for, like, 3 minutes, but, like, take more than 2 guns off him.
That's true. He's like, yeah, you can't choke me. You know why? Because my armor goes all the way up here.
I think this fight might
It's not even cold outside.
an homage to They Live. There's a fight kind of like this in They Live.
Oh.
That is just... It has nothing to do with the story, and it goes for like 6 minutes, and it's great. But you were talking about pulling from B movies. I think there might be a little bit of They Live inspiration there. I really liked his face there.
He's like, oh, we're doing this thing, huh? Frank Castle's the audience for a minute, where it's like, oh, okay, so
Hey,
you
look,
rolled the D20.
that church is a skull. Apparently, that was an accident. They didn't know that.
You rolled the D20,
like that.
and the trope that you landed on. Yeah, I'm sure that's how. I'm sure
That's what they said.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they said they just kind of picked the church, and then when they shot it, they're like, oh, it's a skull. That works.
Wow.
I don't know if I believe that, but that's what they said.
Well, wow, if that's true.
Oh yeah, this guy's gonna be able to take care of stuff.
Cops. Ugh.
Known people eater is gonna answer the door.
Excuse me. I think maybe you guys should be clearing your corners. Maybe one of you should be standing behind him. Maybe you don't trust the guy with the really beat up, bandaged face. That's often a dead giveaway. it's real unusual to run into somebody whose face is that beat up. Something happened there.
It's true.
Those were the stupidest cops I've ever seen in anything.
Anything.
No, but they're up there, man. I hate plates. Plates are the worst.
That money could be anywhere. It could even be behind these plates.
These plates. See, he doesn't look like he's looking for anything. He's just like, plates! I hate plates!
And he probably is.
I still say, she is not in the same movie we're watching that everybody else is in. And she's in scenes with the crazy, sadistic psychopath.
Yep.
Okay,
and she's still playing like...
That was real redundant, what I just said. But anyway, yeah, like with that makeup right in her face. The thing I keep pointing at.
Let's see if he clears his corners. He does.
Yeah.
He's like a real cop or something.
Well, he's an FBI agent.
That's true. That's true.
See, they just naturally have to be more competent. See, we wouldn't believe that he is supposed to be an FBI agent if he acted like those stupid cops. Oh, and also he has, like, dialogue, and he's supposed to be a character. Has beef with Frank Castle. No, let them take out the one boring part of this movie. Really, it's fine.
Like I said, to be the bait at the end.
Like I said, I like Julie Benz.
Me too.
In stuff, she's
great in Dexter. She's
great not
Angel.
working at all in this movie.
No.
And I don't even think of her as a one-note actress.
Hmm.
But there was a miscommunication somewhere between. What? Why are we shooting baby dolls?
He's angry.
Ran out of plates to throw.
We have another really good kill coming up. I remember this.
So you're at this point just watching this movie, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. But wait, because it's going to be a great kill coming up. Get ready. Everybody's going to get to watch you react. It's going to be the best.
Oh my god, no. I forgot about that. Oh. His skeleton! It goes all the way to the wall. It's that kind of movie.
Oh, it's totally that kind of movie.
Well, he's real consistent.
While holding
like,
a child!
They just... Yeah, that makes it way worse! I didn't even think of that! And they show all of it in the same frame! And you see his face missing his head, missing half of its head! You couldn't have been a little more eloquent. Stay where you effing are.
This movie's so much fun. I should go back to this movie more
That
often.
was just the most insane. Oh boy. This is not a good movie, really.
But it's really fun!
Yeah, I mean, I can see why you like it. This is not my thing at all.
I know.
I also have nothing to say about this movie while I'm watching it.
Well, there's...
Except to point and to be like, ah! And to be like, really? And to be like, okay!
This is also a movie that has no subtext. There was nothing to read into in this movie.
No, because even when it's trying to be about something, it's not giving you a chance to read it at all. Yeah, no, an actual written rewind for this would be insane. I mean, I've certainly had to do that before, but, you know.
I want you to analyze this movie.
Hey, Cap, what's your interpretation of the story of this movie? Well, you saw it, right?
Fist and skull.
Pretty sure we're all on the same page about what this movie's about. If any of us are arguing...
This is the kind of movie where...
About the themes and ideas of this movie, one of us is doing something wrong.
This is the kind of movie that, I don't know if we make enough, especially now, because we don't make R-rated movies for adults anymore, but...
That is actually a really cool music
Snow
box.
globe?
Or snow globe? Yeah, that it's a
It's
carousel
kind of both, yeah.
inside of a snow globe?
That's really cool.
It's really cool. Now, you know what happens if you break that and you mix it with kryptonite.
But this is like a slasher film, like a Friday the 13th or something like that, but where the person murdering everyone is a good guy.
Yeah, that's a really great point.
Because people talk about like going to like Friday the 13th movies. Well, I go for the kills, and like we have to make all of the teenagers the most deplorable people so that you don't feel bad when they kill them. I like that this is a movie that's like that, but it's a good guy, and the people that are gonna die are, you know, mobsters and stuff. Like, we should make more movies like this. Like, I don't know, maybe those people don't show up for those kinds of movies. Like, maybe horror fans don't like when it's a good guy murdering bad people.
Yeah, because when you think of slasher franchises, we talk about the slashers almost like they're the protagonists of their movies, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're the force of nature, or however else you want to look at the conflict, depending on, you know, each of those movies. The difference here, of course, is because it's a comic book thing, and he is an anti-hero but supposed to be our protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
He does have a villain.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And
you don't
those
have bad
don't.
slasher
Yeah.
movies.
Well, sometimes. There's a
But I mean, are there movies where
there's a fire starter girl who fights Jason?
Yeah, but is she bad?
No.
That's what I mean. Is like this has an evil antagonist.
Oh well, I mean, yeah, but
like with your slasher.
But Jason's the evil antagonist. So she's the good. Well, Jason's the evil protagonist. She's the good antagonist.
Yeah, but you see the point I'm making.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, they're not going after a greater evil.
Yeah. But again, as we were kind of suggesting, it already breaks down because your slasher character is supposed to be the good guy. So whoever he goes against would be a bad guy antagonist. This is one of those things where I feel like I'm losing brain cells while I'm looking at it. It's hard to be articulate and watch a thing like this. So I find myself just talking like it on accident.
Oh, look, there's a broken mirror. Because he breaks all the mirrors.
Yeah, that probably is symbolic of something.
No, it's because he breaks mirrors.
Oh, is that what it is?
See his face, and so he broke that mirror when they went in the room.
Well, and it's also because his face is all jagged.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like a mirror like that. This is a competently put together and directed movie, but there's not one shot where I've been like, oh, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think Lexi Alexander did much after
It's not even
this.
attempting to be artistic. Like, it knows what it is. I mean,
yeah. It's kind of a bummer. This is kind of like a forgotten film. I mean, we forgot it, but... Like, I don't feel like people talk about this. There's the super drug. Remember that plot? We've been seeing that.
But this is a real throwaway kind of movie.
Yeah, absolutely. But how many of the movies we've watched for Marvel Mania are throwaway movies that we probably watch
especially
more
those
or remember more because they're
mid-2000s
specifically
things.
superhero characters?
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. of those, again, are at least ostensibly kind of about more than this movie is.
That's true.
It's throwaway in the sense that it's strictly here to entertain, and only if you're into this kind of thing.
Mm.
It's both not thought-provoking, it's not trying to be,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a bunch of violence. Like,
I'd rather watch this than Fantastic Four. Especially the second one.
all he eats is military food.
That's a real standard thing
Yep.
for characters like this. Well, and he was in the military, and
Yeah.
but can you get military rations? Is that like a thing? Could we just go buy military rations?
I don't know. Is he stealing them? That was kind of what I was wondering.
Because we know in this movie we do establish, like in the comics, he takes money from the people he kills.
Yeah.
That's how he has all this money.
So you would have to go buy it. Yeah. So he's not. He wouldn't steal from the military because they don't deserve to be stolen from. In his
but
mind.
can you buy military rations? Like, this is
I
the
don't
thing in
know.
a lot of revenge films. Like, people just
that's a really good point. You
pull
would
up and
have
buy
to go out of
military
your
rations.
way, because it's like, I mean, I get why you make that a character trait,
Mm.
and maybe for these kind of military characters, it's almost a cliche at this point.
Maybe it is
but,
easy to get them if you know where to get them or how to get them. I don't know.
Yeah, but like, we're not supposed to think about that. It's
Yeah.
supposed to just be. It helps to keep you hardened. It helps to keep you in that mindset.
Mm.
It's what you got used to when you're in the military, and again, you're trying to stay in that
It's
zone.
minimal. It's just what your body needs.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're not indulging in anything because you're trying to keep your mind always on
He's doing
your mission.
He's got this thing in a couple of scenes, the like workout thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I don't know why he's doing that either. Yeah, this is really a product of its time, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh no, they've kidnapped.
There's that
Microchip.
reasonably sized gun.
Wow, look at that gun.
It's reasonably sized.
That is nuts.
It looks like it's a revolver with a silencer on it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure that's how that works.
Yeah, I'm totally outside of my element for this entire movie.
Yeah, I'm not a gun guy, but like
I don't watch
I
these
know
kinds
a
of
little
movies.
bit from.
I don't know much about guns. That's disgusting, and I'm still looking at it.
I know a little bit from, movies and things, but like I don't know anything about real guns.
Okay, that totally bounced off his head and almost hit the little girl. She's gonna need a lot of therapy. I get it. Yeah, a lot of therapy. How many people has she seen, not just murdered, but
Violently murdered.
eviscerated?
I mean, that first one is Frank's fault. That's on him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. The first, 3, it was all in the same room.
She didn't see him punch that guy's face into his skull.
No, but she might have walked past it later. I don't know. It's weird. There is a lot of location shooting in this movie, but because of all of the sets that are clearly sets, it feels real Unreal and manufactured
small.
all the way through?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, small is a really good way to put it, and I think some of it is just
Which
the
also
way we're
makes it
lighting
feel-
things. These buildings are lit up blue for some reason.
It also makes it feel more B-movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the point I was trying to get to.
And I like things like that, so I'm kind of in my element.
Yeah, I'm not even criticizing it for that.
Oh, it's the Bradstreet Hotel. Tim Bradstreet does all of the covers for Punisher Max. If you've ever seen a picture of Frank Castle holding a gun and it's really realistic looking and there's shadows, that's Tim Bradstreet. He does about 70 of those.
The shadows are real important. If they're shadows...
I'm not sure if he does interiors. And if he does do interiors, I don't think he does them like he does covers. But, like, pretty much any iconic Punisher cover you can think of after 2000 is Tim Bradstreet. I like that line.
I don't like that line.
Really?
I was just about to mention how I don't really like that line that much, but... Anyway.
I like that line. See, Frank's gone through an arc, because when he first met that guy, he didn't trust him, and he didn't think he could be a good person. Now he's telling him you are a good person, and you shouldn't be in hell. I don't know what this is.
I don't think that's what that is, but...
No, that's exactly what it is.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. No, that is an arc coming full circle.
We're talking over this movie I don't know, so... I have nothing to bring to this, but here I am.
You been to many churches with neon crosses?
I was just about to ask you that question. Have you?
The last
That aren't
100 years.
that aren't meant to
Twice.
be televised? You know, maybe with a televangelist, but...
I don't think a Punisher is a Catholic person.
I was going to ask you about that.
I don't know if that's a thing. I don't think it is.
You'd think if that was standard, it would have come up in the Daredevil TV show.
Yeah. I feel like we just wanted to shoot in a church.
You wouldn't have wanted to miss that opportunity because they might not meet again.
Yeah, they parallel.
That's a good line. The 10 suggestions. Planning is not a major at this university. I kind of like the idea of there just being things in the Bible that he likes to cherry pick, and he's not actually religious, but he knows it too well. The fact that he was able to call that chapter and verse, and that's not like a constantly you hear it every other Sunday kind of passage. They're telling us he grew up in it, at the very least.
Absolutely.
But that's okay. He could grow up in it and have all that stuff ingrained in him. And I mean, a lot of Catholic churches, you'd have to, especially if you went to school, you'd have to memorize a lot. So he could not be devout like Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
And just know that
and that guy
stuff.
said that he hasn't seen him since the funeral, so that's 5 years.
Yeah. But that implies he was going to church before, but that might just be because he had a family.
Yeah. Otis Club!
You have now found like 3 different places to bring that up. But that... Well played, sir.
Well, I mean...
Really? Otis Club?
The first two were the same place, just on two different directions.
Oh, I forgot. I remember this bit. I don't know if I told you about this, but Otisburg is a neighborhood in Gotham City in the last Arkham game.
Oh, is it?
There's a whole section that's called Otisburg.
That's awesome.
This music. That was in the trailer.
I love this little, like...
And Vince was like, oh my god, this is the Punisher movie we're getting? Why is he doing that crazy voice?
Well, and he's walking like a Nazi. He's doing the goose step.
I can't... The Punisher ain't the only one who can take the law into his own hands. She knows it's not Brad Street, it's Brad Street.
Yeah. This is a thing that feels like it should have been built to in this movie.
Yep.
That there's like all these different gangs and...
Yeah.
It's just like, we're just going to do them because we need a big action climax. And a lot of the stuff in the trailer is from this climax, so like him going through rooms and shooting and stuff like that.
They're real well organized. They all got text messages about this.
Well, no, he went from person to person and went to all of them. Or he went from group to group. And they're all themed. It's like the Warriors.
Boom, pa-chom, pa-chom.
I don't know if we need this scene.
This is a really weird movie.
It's a really weird movie.
It is just all over the map.
Yeah, and except for the Julie Benz scenes, it's not tonally inconsistent. It's just everywhere.
Yeah, I can't call it well-paced, though.
No. We don't need this scene.
We don't need... And I'm cocking, and I'm loading, and I'm still cocking and loading. Checking my gun. Yeah, what was the point of that?
I don't know.
Okay, he's got a big gun! He knows how it works.
Well, it's supposed to be like the lock and load sequence, but we shot it from one camera
from
with
one
gun.
angle. The music didn't match that kind of scene. It like the way that was shot. We were waiting for something else to happen. Okay, forget what I said about the directing. I said competent. I mean sometimes.
Most of the time. Although, that could be less directing and more cinematography.
Oh, sure, but you're directing the movie. You're there on the day. You'd be like, hey, you know, I had this idea, cinematographer guy. Maybe, like, you can still blame that on a director, I think.
Yeah.
Unless he wasn't there that day and it was second unit. And that also
it's
looks
a
like
woman.
a thing
This is directed by a woman.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Lexi Alexander, yes.
It's the last movie on Earth you would have expected was directed by a woman, right?
That was a big point of pride for her.
No, that's neat.
Yep.
But it's not the kind of thing that would appeal to very much of a female audience, you wouldn't think.
Yeah, and she's...
certainly not aimed at that audience.
If I remember her history correctly, she is a stunt woman herself.
Oh, cool. There are very, very few superhero movies directed by women at all.
You wouldn't think that this would be one of them.
You wouldn't think this would be one of the ones of those.
Surprise.
See, there's no being articulate watching this movie. Can't do it.
They're all ready for him. Oh yeah, I forgot about these guys. There's the old man mafia that showed up too.
Led by Mike Ehrmantraut. No, that's not Mike Ehrmantraut.
There's blue. And then yellow. This film's lit like a cartoon. It's a real interesting choice.
This looks kind of cool.
It does.
Okay, it looked cooler when we were just looking at it from the bottom.
Yeah, it's here. See, you can see he hasn't lost as much weight as he looks like he has in the face.
Yeah.
But he looks great in this movie.
I wish he got more screen time.
Yeah, me too.
He got more to do.
He could come back in the Netflix show. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that that's...
Coming?
Yeah. Because, like, they announced it, but, like, there's so many, like, ones that, like, I hear are announced. Like, the Moon Knight one. Like, I kept seeing, like, confirmed Moon Knight Netflix. I don't think it is.
No,
I keep forgetting that
the Punisher one was fake confirmed several times also.
Yeah.
But that one is actually definitely happening.
Yeah.
Post Defenders. I don't know how many other things we get before it comes out or when they even start shooting it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're going to rush that or if we're going to get another Daredevil and another Jessica Jones.
Well, and that wouldn't necessarily be rushed. I mean, if they're starting work on it now, that's not rushed. That's 2-3 years.
Unless they rush it, they could start work on it now and it come out in a year and a half. I just don't know. Yeah.
I keep thinking it's next year.
Yeah, and they put one out every 6 months, so that's my question is because Daredevil season 2 they did kind of rush out.
No, absolutely.
So I'm saying there's every possibility that that's what they do.
But if they've been working on it since Daredevil season 2, got the reception it got, that's.
But we haven't heard anything about when they're going to start filming or anything.
That's true.
But we get Iron Fist and then Defenders this year. I'm pretty sure.
I'm excited. When is Iron Fist? That's coming up, right?
It's got to be. I think
it's tomorrow.
If they keep to that 6-month schedule. I'm glad they lined that up so that we didn't get a Defenders movie and an Avengers movie, or a Defenders show and an Avengers movie the same year.
Yeah.
And now, Gang War.
Yeah, they just started shooting each other. I checked out for a second. I'm not sure why they're shooting each other.
What were we watching again? Oh, that's right. Warzone Punisher.
I mean...
We're watching Warzone
It's
Punisher.
not an inaccurate title. That sounds like a title that you just throw onto a movie.
You couldn't have called it...
Like Resurrection or Retaliation or a lot of R words.
Mm-hmm. You couldn't have called it...
Retribution. Like, this really easily could have been, like, Punisher Retribution. And, like, that's applicable, I guess.
Sounds like a crappy video game based on this material.
There's Resident Evil movies called Resident Evil Retribution. And I don't think there's any retributing going along with it.
No retrobuting?
Retrobuting in that film. Not any more than any other film.
It's real retributive, that movie.
So this is one of the first things we actually saw was this sequence. They put this up as like a clip to watch.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it was him like going from room to room shooting people and this whole thing, yeah. And you'd think it would have been in the middle of the movie. Or I thought it would have been in the middle of the movie.
Almost Home Alone about some of this. I might just be saying that because of paint cans.
The one paint can. That guy lost his leg! It was just gone!
Where's the little girl? She's tied up somewhere.
Yeah, she's tied up by the two crazy people.
I'm just every
one
time
of them has
something
horsehide in his face.
Really brutal happens, I'm just expecting her to be there so that she can keep adding to her list of things she needs therapy for.
Nah, she's missing all this, unfortunately.
I don't think she would be entertained on the same level that you are, being actually in the film, and being, like 7 or whatever.
There's not much to say about this scene.
No,
shooting people.
I felt like that through most of this movie.
Competently shot.
Does this not... Yeah, I'm like that scene we didn't need. This looks a lot like the Punisher just going through and shooting up a haunted house to me.
That's kind of what it is.
That's what it is.
Oh no. Wrong room. Or wrong building.
Crap,
this is the haunted house that the college was putting on.
Crap, all those people were actors. What have I done?
No, this is the sequence that we got.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the first thing that I saw of this film. Maybe before the trailer, right after the trailer.
That other side of the wall shot was kind of cool. That didn't look like it was there. That explosion.
Or maybe that was the end of the sequence. I remember seeing that online. I can't imagine they gave us this whole action scene online.
Surely not. What was this?
guns. I think he had guns in his hand.
Oh,
Maybe?
okay.
Maybe.
For a split second, I thought maybe he was checking the time. I've got watches here.
Those other guys died, but we'll make it, right? I want somebody to do a body count.
I feel like
count on this.
Oh, that has
movie.
to have happened. You mean like a YouTube video or something?
Yeah. I want them to do one of those things where it's like body count for like all 3 Punisher films, because I guarantee you this one is like 15 times any other Punisher film.
I want to make one that just...
Oh.
I want to make
That's
one...
also Garth Hennessy.
That just lies and just has a counter at the corner that says 0 casualties. but his head is half off. What do you mean 0 casualties?
He punched his face in.
Nah, he'll be all right.
He'll walk off.
He'll be. Oh yeah, that just gets him where he lives.
You know, he's quite knowledgeable for a crazy person.
Well, yeah, you have a lot of psychotic smart people. He's
but just
smart.
in like trivia, yeah.
Oh my god!
That's why he's got that neck.
He's a biter. See,
well, we knew that from earlier.
That's why you... Oh, I forgot.
Oh, I hope that's
He's like, oh, the one time I didn't zip it up in the front. No, it's just loose. Okay.
Well, yeah, because you wouldn't want it tight, because then you wouldn't be able to turn your head.
Well, it worked okay for Michael Keaton.
No offense to Michael Keaton, but they weren't trying to kill him as hard as these guys are trying to kill the Punisher.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
And see, once again, we're back to the breaking mirrors. This is a recurring
That's right.
theme.
It's a motif, if you will. That's right. Porcelain justice. James Gunn. James Gunn.
Do you think that's a reference?
No.
Maybe friends.
But I thought I would say it. That was your insert shot there? That was your or your reaction shot? How many what you want to know is what the other takes were like.
They're probably the exact same.
That was just a reaction shot where somebody put a camera on and they're like, okay, like react to this. And his choice was Woody Woodpecker. Yeah, kind of like that.
I do it okay with Woody Woodpecker. Ah. It's alright.
Well, where I come from, they're called guns, but okay.
It's a root and tutti point and shooting.
A nice shooter. Are you like self-aggrandizing? Is that about you? Like you are the shooter, or are you calling your gun a shooter?
There's the let's play a game. No, I feel like in the trailer it was a little bit more dramatically delivered. Like it was like let's play a game. It's a sadistic choice.
Yeah, you wouldn't put that in the middle of your
this movie
trailer. No, let's play a game.
This movie actually deals with the sadistic choice a bit.
He really needed more screen time.
Yeah.
Before we got to this. That didn't linger long enough. He should have thought about that one. Why are we rushing this? Yeah, the pacing's real off. Okay, maybe we go back to it, so that's good, but... It still feels like we could be basking in the tension more. Do you think?
Yeah. He's in black, he's in white.
Yeah. We do that a lot.
Yeah, and I usually like it. It's not a particularly original thing at this point, but...
Yeah, and I mean, we're not doing anything with it here.
Yeah.
That's about nothing here, but...
I don't remember how he dies. Like, I don't remember what the kill is.
It's got to have something to do with mirrors, right?
Maybe?
Frank, don't blow off anyone else's head in
While my
front of
daughter's
child. I feel bad for that actress. I mean, she didn't have to actually watch anyone's heads being blown off. But probably some prop heads.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I've heard, like, interviews with, like, kid actors talking about, like, horror movies. Like, on set, like, it's fun, like, it's not real.
It doesn't feel scary.
But they don't watch the movies sometimes.
Yeah, right.
A lot of times. Oh, you just impaled him. That's
It's just
a
about
lackluster.
Yeah. They should do the Nemesis thing where he, like, pulls himself forward on the spike, or the pipe.
Oh, he lights him on fire.
Oh. Ah!
The beginning of what? That was also a trailer line. Oh, no, the horse hide's catching!
Oh.
It's not a bad kill.
Does he mean, like, just the beginning of his suffering in hell? Is that what he's...
Yeah, that must be
That's
what's going
probably
on
what
there.
that is. Because that's a weird time to announce, I'm going to continue my reign of punishing.
That I've been doing for 5 years.
Yes, these 5 years are just the beginning.
Some of the best 5 years of my life.
Smells like barbecue. I want one too. I also want a drink.
My daughter could also probably use a drink.
Wait. We're having... We're too happy right now. We need to insert more forced drama. So let me start talking.
This is the I'm okay with you scene.
Yeah, you just mean her presence in this movie at all. Yeah, I'm sorry, little girl, but you are screwed up for life. That is the end of your happy childhood.
Innocence lost. That was it? It was just, he said you were one of the good guys. We used to argue about you. He said you were. Jesus saves. But that's more of a T. There's nothing above the... It's not a cross, it's a T.
Yeah.
Because the saves
In
comes
the
down
dark.
from the S.
In the dark, in the daytime, it's got an outline of a cross, but... No, this was only the beginning. Yeah, that'll be the title of the next film. Punisher Rehabilitation. Frank, I need to call my gun-toting vigilante friend.
Frank saves.
Yeah. That's an odd way to end that movie. And like, that guy comes out of nowhere on cue.
So, that is kind of a thing that happens in the first arc of Punisher Max.
Okay.
Because Garth Ennis had been written Marvel Knights for a while, and he's like, there's only so many times I can have the Punisher kill the Mafia. So the first arc of Punisher Max is he murders everyone in New York. And then he goes international and kind of deals with some other things and different kinds of threats.
Like, I have the means, I might as well just finish what I started.
There's there's an arc where he goes after just like real terrible like businessmen. Just stuff like that.
So, we watched that movie.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
I had nothing to say about that, but...
You had things to laugh at.
Yeah. That's very much not my kind of movie.
Okay.
Even more so than the 04. Like...
But let's be honest. Unlike the 04, if you rewatch this beforehand, you still would have had nothing to say.
Yeah, I was going to make that point. You're absolutely right. Okay, so Iron Man 2 is definitely next.
Yes, yes. And we should be able to keep track of everything.
Yeah, you just wanted to make sure. Well, we should have been able to keep track of that. I don't know how we missed that, but anyway.
Yeah.
We had looked the day before, and I thought we remembered it. Guess we should have written it down. Anyway.
Yeah. Think this is Iced Earth?
No. This doesn't sound anything like Iced Earth. No, this sounds almost more like, well, I was going to say this sounds more like Sprung Monkey than it does Iced Earth, but it doesn't sound like them either.
If this movie has an after credits scene, I will be shocked.
I don't think it does.
Yeah, I don't think it does either. We might be the first people to discover.
Well, you know what I almost said? Nobody ever talks about it. Nobody talks about this movie, so if it had one...
I've seen this movie a couple times. Maybe 5? This might be my 5th or 6th time seeing it.
Yeah, I mean...
It's a fun movie to show people.
Certainly a lot of people wouldn't stay to the credits, but there's probably all kinds of people that didn't even make it to the last scene that don't even know what the last scene looks like.
We're not even sure that if that Roger Ebert made it past the opening scene.
This is definitely a movie people walked out on.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
I bet Spirit of Vengeance was like that, too.
And you know what sucks? This comes out only weeks before The Spirit.
Oh, no!
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure people like that.
Yeah, comic book movies were getting a bad rap that year.
Well, no, they weren't. That's Dark Knight, Iron Man. We start strong.
No, that is still 08.
Yeah, that's 08.
You're right. Yeah.
Yep.
And then we just put all the crappy ones in the back half.
Well, it's like, oh man, we got the Dark Knight, we got Iron Man, we got the Incredible Hulk, we're looking pretty good. And then it's like, at least to people that aren't me,
year before,
it's Warzone, The Spirit, X-Men Origins Wolverine, like, oh, maybe we aren't moving forward with the comic book films.
Maybe there's... Marvel Studios is starting off at a good place, and Christopher Nolan knows how to make movies. It's about where we are. But maybe they'll inspire some greatness later.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened.
I like this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm predicting the future from 2008.
The future is now.
Yeah, it is.
I never predicted all of this. I certainly didn't predict the Netflix shows.
Yeah. Now, I wouldn't have predicted that it would be impossible to keep up with all of it. I don't understand what people do with...
Justice Lab.
I don't understand what people do with regular jobs. Like, I don't know how people keep up with this stuff.
Well, they binge. They just take like a weekend, they binge.
Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like you'd miss things and not even realize certain things came out.
Yeah. And I've met quite a few people. Well, not quite a few. I've met a couple of people that don't know about the Netflix shows.
Yeah? But go see the Marvel movies?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, as much as I don't want there to be a disconnect, you can see why that's happening.
Yeah. And they don't know that they're connected.
Because they're not going to be invested in the TV side.
Truffles, fine foods.
Oh, of course the second unit was in Vancouver. This is the one movie that we didn't make any Vancouver jokes, and dang it, part of it was in Vancouver.
Of course it was.
We keep doing that where we're like, this is probably Vancouver, and then it'll be in like a really exotic location.
Yeah, it's like the sprawling countrysides of Scotland, and it's like Vancouver, obviously.
We're idiots.
So do you feel remiss for not having revisited this film sooner?
No. No, I mostly feel really bad for that little girl. I'm upset about that. I don't like all the therapy she's going to have to get.
I really want.
I don't like that she was... I either don't like or I love that she was in the same frame.
As the guy's head exploding.
That's just... That's not right. That's not okay. Quebec, Canada. I like metal and a lot of the early 2000s, you know, hard rock.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of this soundtrack, like, I'm not liking these songs.
It is. Oh, it's Ramallah. It's not Ramsey. It's Ramallah. Did Days of Revenge.
A lot of this music sounds to me like this kind of music is already on its way out.
Well, and some of it's a little bit more hardcore than, like, it's not radio rock.
That's true. Yeah, maybe it's just I don't actually listen to the subgenre, and so yeah, because you were pointing bands out and stuff, and
well, Rise Against is pretty big.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you mentioned
great
one or
reference.
two others
Yeah.
that I wasn't so familiar with.
Marvel Knights.
You know, we were not familiar with that Valhalla logo, and we've seen it in 3 or 4 movies
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Okay, just keep going. Like, oh, you're gonna stop there, Lionsgate. Okay. Wow, oh my God.
You're dropping everything. You're dropping your new phone.
Oh no. All right. Well, I guess that's it for us, folks. No after credit scene. There could have been.
There could have been.
Because that's not one that people would necessarily have spoken about. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. As always, sure appreciate it. We'll see you again tomorrow for Iron Man 2. I am Captain Logan.
I'm Eric.
See you, folks.